Every single day, Oklahoma City pushes out enough clean drinking water to fill nearly 170 Olympic swimming pools. That's water for coffee makers, sprinklers, dishwashers, and fire hydrants across the entire metro, all treated and pumped before most people even wake up. And once that water's been used, showered with, cooked with, flushed, it's got to go somewhere. The city's treatment plants take it right back in and process it all over again. Oklahoma City treats about 75 million gallons of wastewater every day, enough to fill over 100 Olympic pools with used water, cleaned up and released back into the system safe enough for the rivers it flows into. Speaking of things flowing through this city daily, out at the Oklahoma National Stockyards, one of the largest cattle markets on the planet, is doing business every single day. 4,000 head of cattle move through those stockyards daily. That's the equivalent of 40 full livestock trailers rolling in and out, day after day, keeping Oklahoma City one of the beating hearts of the American cattle trade. Now let's talk about what's actually keeping the humans of this city awake and moving. Oklahomans love their coffee, and the numbers back it up. This city pours through roughly 300,000 cups of coffee every single day. Enough hot coffee to fill a small backyard swimming pool, brewed one mug, one drive-through order, one office pot at a time. I wonder how many cups get poured where you live every day. Take a guess and let us know where you're from in the comments. All that caffeine's got to power something, and it turns out this city runs on an enormous amount of electricity behind the scenes. Homes across Oklahoma City burn through about 18,000 megawatt hours of electricity every single day. Enough to power roughly 600,000 homes for a full hour, air conditioners humming, TVs on, refrigerators running nonstop. But electricity isn't the only thing moving through this city constantly. So are its cars, and in a sprawling metro built for driving, that number gets enormous fast. Every day, drivers across the Oklahoma City metro rack up about 30 million miles behind the wheel. Lay that out, and it's like making 60 round trips to the moon every single day, just from people running errands, commuting, and picking up kids from school. And with that many people and that many miles, of course, some of them are headed to the airport. Will Rogers World Airport moves about 9,000 passengers a day through its gates. Roughly the same as filling 25 fully loaded Boeing 737s with travelers every single day, coming and going from this city. That's a lot of people moving, and a lot of them are headed home to houses that need heating. Every day, homes and businesses across Oklahoma City burn through about 9.5 million therms of natural gas, enough to heat roughly 95,000 homes for a full day. All that gas flowing quietly under the streets while furnaces click on across the metro. All that living, of course, generates its own kind of output, the stuff nobody wants to talk about but everybody produces. Oklahoma City hauls away about 900 tons of solid waste every single day. That's roughly 60 garbage truckloads, rumbling through neighborhoods from sunup to sundown every day without fail. Now picture all of that happening across a city that stretches wider than most people realize. Oklahoma City is one of the largest cities by land area in the entire country, sprawling out across the plains far beyond its downtown skyline. And spread across all that ground, thousands of people are choosing to leave the car at home. Embark, the city's public bus system, carries about 8,000 riders every day, enough to fill roughly 200 city buses to capacity, seat by seat, across dozens of routes crisscrossing the metro. If you're enjoying this so far, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. But with all those cars still out on those wide Oklahoma City streets, collisions are just a matter of math. Police respond to about 110 traffic crashes every single day in Oklahoma City. That works out to roughly one crash happening somewhere in the city every 13 minutes, day and night. And crashes are just one slice of what keeps emergency dispatchers busy around the clock. Oklahoma City's 911 center fields about 2,200 emergency calls every single day. That's close to 1.5 calls landing every single minute. 24 hours straight, someone somewhere always reaching out for help. Compare that to a smaller city's call volume, and the gap is staggering. Oklahoma City's daily total dwarfs what a town a tenth its size would ever see in dispatch traffic. Meanwhile, across town, a very different kind of daily gathering is happening in classrooms all over the district. Oklahoma City Public Schools brings in about 32,000 students every single school day. Enough kids to fill Chesapeake Energy Arena not once, but twice over every single morning. And once they're fed and seated, the city's appetite doesn't stop with the school cafeteria. Across every restaurant, food truck, and diner in town, Oklahoma City serves up roughly 250,000 meals a day. That's something like one meal for every 3 residents in the entire city, every single day, plates going out nonstop from breakfast rush to last call. And once you start counting plates, you start noticing everything else the city throws away too, like the recycling bins waiting at the curb every single morning. Oklahoma City hauls in about 150 tons of recycling every day. Picture 10 full garbage trucks, but instead of headed to the landfill, every one of them packed with cardboard, cans, and plastic bound for a second life. Not everything the city handles is routine, though. Sometimes it's a 5-alarm emergency. Oklahoma City firefighters respond to structure fires on a near-clockwork basis. On average, crews are pulling up to a burning structure about 4 times a day. That's roughly 1 fire somewhere in the city every 6 hours, day and night, weekends included. And while some households are dealing with disaster, others are welcoming something brand new into the world. Between OKC area hospitals, the city adds about 35 new residents to its population every single day. That's basically a full school classroom of newborns arriving before the sun sets, every day of the year. Of course, hospitals aren't just delivery rooms, they're also where the city shows up when things go wrong fast. Emergency rooms across OU Health, Integris, Mercy, and SSM see something like 600 visits a day combined. Picture a mid-sized ER waiting room, packed shoulder to shoulder, then imagine it emptying and refilling like that roughly once every couple hours, all day, every day. Here's how that compares to a few things you might expect to see a similar-sized crowd for around town. Meanwhile, life keeps moving forward in quieter ways too. People are buying homes, closing deals, starting new chapters. Real estate agents across the metro close out about 25 home sales a day. That's basically 1 set of keys handed over every single hour around the clock. Someone somewhere in OKC unlocking a front door for the first time. All that buying and selling, all that eating and shopping feeds directly into the city's bank account. Oklahoma City pulls in roughly $900,000 a day in sales tax revenue alone, enough in a single day to buy the police department about 30 brand new patrol cruisers. And speaking of things happening downtown, every weekday morning the skyline fills up with people heading to work. Roughly 45,000 workers pour into downtown Oklahoma City's offices each day, which is enough people to fill the Thunder's arena to capacity twice over before lunch even hits. Let's put that next to a few other daytime crowds the city pulls together. And through all of that hustle, a smaller, quieter kind of paperwork is happening at the county courthouse. About 10 couples a day walk out with a brand new marriage license, 10 new chapters starting quietly while the rest of the city rushes on around them. But paperwork isn't the only thing moving quietly through this city. Down along the tracks, the OKC Streetcar rolls through downtown, carrying about 1,000 riders a day, roughly 20 full streetcar loads worth of people gliding past the same buildings, never touching a car horn. On a much heavier note, the city also loses about 25 people a day across Oklahoma County, roughly the daily caseload of a single busy funeral home. A quiet reminder that behind every big lively number, there's a human one too. Speaking of feeding people, OKCPS doesn't stop at the school day. The district serves about 45,000 meals every single day, enough to feed a sold-out Thunder crowd not once, but twice over. And speaking of Thunder crowds, on a game night, the arena doesn't just fill up with fans, it fills up the local economy. Every Thunder game day pumps roughly $2 million into the city, restaurants, parking, hotels, bars, all lighting up at once. Let's actually see how that stacks up against an ordinary business day downtown. $2 million is the kind of number that's easy to say and hard to picture, so picture this instead. That's roughly what it costs to build 40 brand new houses, all funded in the time it takes to play one basketball game. Back on the ground, the city's builders never really stop either. Permits for new construction are approved at a steady clip, and behind every one of those permits is real money hitting the ground. OKC sees about $3 million in construction value permitted every day, enough to raise a small apartment complex before the week is even out. All that growth needs to stay connected, and that's happening invisibly, over the air. Every day, cell towers across the metro push around 15 million gigabytes of data. Picture every single person in the city hitting play on a movie at the exact same moment, all day long. If screens are eating up the airwaves, plenty of Oklahomans are still turning pages the old-fashioned way. The Metropolitan Library System sees about 4,000 visits a day, enough foot traffic to fill a mid-size branch several times over before closing time. And when the sky itself decides to join the show, the city listens closely. During peak spring season, OKC averages about 0.3 of a tornado watch or warning per day, which works out to roughly one warning issued every 3 days, a rhythm most Oklahomans know by heart. That's the city, day in and day out. Streetcars, storms, ball games, and everything in between, all happening at once, every single day. If you enjoyed riding through these numbers with us, do us a favor and hit that like button, and consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you don't miss the next one. So tell us, what city or town do you want us to break down next? Drop it in the comments and we just might make it happen.